What's up, tubers? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, coming at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series for Lake Kerr. Still in that Steel Creek area, Nutbush area. We're actually going to finish it up tonight with all these hot spots. I think you guys are going to like it. This will complete our entire section, so make sure to go out, check out that website, simplisticfishing.com. It's got all those waypoints out there for you. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go. Here we are back out on Kerr Lake, and we're out here using the web app. I always say web app, I don't mean to say that. We're actually using the mobile Navionics app to be able to see all of these contours. So if you missed the last couple videos, we've covered this area down in here quite a bit over the last few videos. We've also talked about some of the other areas on this lake as well. So you can always go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We have all these waypoints that we're talking about today, as well as all the other videos for Kerr Lake. They're all out there and you can purchase them on the site, so go check them out. You basically just get it on an SD card, plug it into your graph, and you'll have everything right there on your graph when you're out in the lake. Changes the way you fish completely and makes it to where you can really pattern fish really simply and have a quick picture of the lake as far as where the rocks are, where the laydowns are, where the brush piles are, the fish attractors, the offshore stuff. You know, just depending on what it is that you're patterning or how the fish are patterned up, it's definitely going to make things a lot easier. So anyways, go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's scoot down here. Now, we started up here at the top when we started talking about offshore. Today is strictly just offshore hotspots that we're going to talk about. We started up here, took us a video or so, then we ended up about right around in here in this area, and then finally on the last video we came down, we went all the way down these coves, we came back up, and we ended right here at this point. So if you're following along with me, that is the point that I'm going to start at today. And what we're going to do is we're going to work our way down here, and then we're going to circle back up, probably go in there and hopefully finish, but we'll see how long this one takes us. You know, if it needs to be a little bit extended, we'll do it. But if we're only 20 minutes, if we're already 20 minutes in and we're only 10 or so waypoints in, then obviously we'll have to do another video. So let's go ahead and go back to that point I was telling you about right here. And now as we go in here, that's actually Anderson Creek. That point is going to be a really good point. Just sets up perfectly the way it divides those two channels. So then we're going to move on down here. I don't see too much coming down this bank line. Notice the contour is just not a lot going on. Maybe something there, possibly off that little point right there. I don't know what is here though. You may want to check it out. It just says obstructions. Now when the water was down, if we were able to get the water far enough down on the Google Earth side, we may have even pointed that out in the video. So make sure you go check that out. When we get back here, I did like this one spot way back here. You got to get way back in here. But when you get back here, you notice this little point that comes out. And these are great little spots for them to set up, especially close to spawn, like maybe right before they go back in here and spawn. They could collect up in here around this little ridge or this little ledge that's right here. Not ridge, but a ledge that's right there. So definitely take a look at that. That's some really tight contours. It looks like it goes, if we put this on the top, it's 6 foot. And if we go down here, it's 18 foot. So there's definitely something going on right around in that area. All right, so I'm going to pull that back out. That's that little cove we were talking about. Let's go back up here. We're going to go past that ramp. We're going to go around. We're going to come on down here. I don't see too much, you know, that really caught my eye here. But when we got down into this area, I definitely liked these two little points right here. Notice the nice flat top that this point has that comes out. And then right here, if you notice, this is really tighter contours. Let me zoom in here so you can see this better. Notice the big flat top now. You've got a huge flat that's right here on top of this point. So really like that. Also just like the way it's set up again before it gets back into the coves. It's kind of that main lake area that you could see them setting up at, you know, for most of the time in the summertime and stuff like that. Now we also go over here, and if we look on this side, you're going to notice I put the point right here. And I've talked about this on a lot of the other videos. When I'm fishing things like this where it's a really steep drop, right? This is probably 6 foot to 26 foot. So there's something going on right here. Really steep drop. A lot of times if you know, pretend this was a bluff wall, the bluff walls will be good, but the best parts seem to be the very ends of them. And so I'm thinking like on this one, you've got some tight contours, so I definitely fish this bank line. This looks really good. But also right here, right where the contours stop being so tight and they start to expand a little bit, that little curve right in there, they just seem to like to collect in those areas. So check that out. Check this out, and also check out that point that's right there. Okay, let's go on down. Let's move on down here. Now this is going to be an easy one to find because it looks like it's right by this buoy that's right here. But right here you've got a hump that's out here. It's pretty obvious when you zoom in close enough. You can see the top of the hump is at 9. It goes down to 22 feet over here, 15, 19. It's got a little bit of a point up there as well, but a really good offshore hump that you could check out. I'm going to pull back, show you guys where I am. So we covered that spot. Now we're right down in here. We're coming right off the tip of this point, and I really like this point. Look, it's got a nice flat top, so real shallow on the top, and then it just plummets downwards. But it's a main lake point. You know it's going to be good. It just sets up really, really good. All right, so let's go on down here. Let's see if we saw anything back in here. I don't think I did. It gets somewhat shallow in here, but just not a lot from a contour perspective. Obviously, I would fish in here, right? But we probably marked that with Google Earth. There's another one of those really sharp ridges that's right there. So you may want to take a look at that. That has some potential. But I didn't see anything back here in this crooked run, you know, from an offshore standpoint. Now, as I start to come out, we're going to see a lot more, but we're going to come over here. This is Flat Creek. We're going to come right where these buoys are. And right outside those buoys, you're going to notice there's something right there. Somebody put a marker there, but I just like that point. Usually when you see that marker, it means there's rocks there. So you definitely want to look at this point. It sets up really, really good. There's a ramp right here, so you kayakers could put it at this ramp and just really go over here and fish this point. This looks like it could be a very productive point for you. And there's some other points in here too. You know, if you were limited to this area, you could check out these little points that are in here. They've all got some potential, but that one that I showed you, to me, has the best potential. Okay, so let's move this back out. We're going to come back up this Flat Creek area. We're going to stay on this left side now. And when you get back in here, you're going to come back into this first little cove. There's a nice little point that's right here. I just like it. I like these secondary points that set up, especially when you're coming back in here to a spawning area. That is just a really good place for them to set up and stage as they're moving in and as they're moving out. So definitely a good spot to go look for. Out here, you've got another good little point, kind of more main lake. I know it's further down this channel, but definitely more of a main lake point that you could check out right here. If I zoom in, you'll notice it's got that nice contour right here on the side too, right? Real good break over here on the side. And then it kind of flattens out on this side. So you just got to kind of search around. My guess is they'd probably be somewhere right in this area. All right, let's keep moving up. Now, obviously here, that just looks good. You've got some really good points to just go around. If we zoom in and we look at them, you've got two good points that come out right here off of this. And then you got this nice little kind of flat area, about 10 foot, and then a little ledge that's out here too. So got to be something going on in that area. I would definitely go do some scanning around. And then while you're there, if you come over here to the left, you've got another one of those spots we were talking about earlier where it's just got a little point that comes out and then a really good break. So nice little ledge before it comes back in here to this little shallow area as well. You've got some obstruction things back here. I don't know what these are, but again, we probably saw them on Google Earth being that they're so close to the bank line. We've also got another point that's right here that I wanted to show you. This one's not as obvious, and maybe this one wouldn't be as pressured as much, because if you're just looking at Navionics from this view and you're just kind of high level viewing it, you would miss it. You would have to be zoomed in order to be able to find it. So if I zoom in here, you're going to notice it. You've got something really cool going on right here. I don't know what this is, but this like a little point that comes out and a really good break right here. Let's see what the top of this is. This top is 13 foot, and then you go down to 22 foot. So you got a 9-foot break going on right there in that area. Go scan around, see if you can see anything in there. As I come back in here into this cove, lots of docks and stuff. Didn't see too much from an offshore standpoint, but I did see this. This looks like an old pond or something like that. It's in a really good ledge right there around it. So maybe go look in there. I'm going to pull this back so you can kind of see where I'm at. So here I am right here now. I'm going to move my way up here. We're almost even with where we started at. As I come up here, again, another good point. Nice flat top. Has a little nice taper here. It's got a nice little ledge on this side. Just like those points that set up like that. Let's keep moving up. This one looks really good. This looks like a really good point to fish in the fall. Notice how it's got the nice flat top, 8 to 10 foot on the top. and then it's basically just, it comes out, you know, really, really far. Those are the types of points that you really like to look at. So I'm sure there's going to be some fish on there. And as you can see right here, you know, someone put a fish marker there. So it's probably a local honey hole, but it's a honey hole for a reason. So you need to go check it out. Now you've got some decent little points in here. I just couldn't mark every single point for you. Like, you know, I'd like that one. If I was scanning around, I'd probably take a look at that one. I'd definitely come over here and maybe look at this one. This has got a really good break on it as well. So maybe go look at that. That's a little bit more main lake. Coming up in here, I didn't really see too much in this whole area that really stuck out to me from offshore until I got right in here, and then I got a really good ledge. Nice little kind of flat area up here. So you got these little flats that are up here, and then you've got the break that's right outside those flats. Let's pull this back. Let's keep going up. So what we're going to do is now we're going to go up here. We're in this area. And finally starting to see a river channel again. That's when I start getting a little bit more excited for offshore stuff. But I like this little point that comes out. I think it's more of a ridge. So you got this ridge line that comes all the way out here. That riverbed must go right through the ridge, and then the ridge picks back up on this side. And you notice I've got points here, but you really want to scan all this stuff out in here, and then also out here really closer towards the channel. And I think that little thing says that there's a wreck. Yeah, so it says there's a train wreck down there. So even if you don't find fish, definitely go scan right there in that area, because it looks like you're going to find some really cool stuff on your down and your side imaging. So that would be right there. So let's move on up. So this is let's see what this cove's got a name. It doesn't. I was going to try to tell you where I was at by that cove name, but hopefully you're keeping up with me. We've also got a nice little point here. Same type thing. Good break. As we move up, again, I couldn't mark every single point on here because there's a lot of good points, but I did mark the ones that I really like this one is somewhat similar to that skinny long one that we were looking at earlier, but it's got a really nice big flat top on it and expands pretty far out into the water. So those are always good places. To me, those great places to go and look in the fall. Another good spot out here as well. You know, it comes up really high, way out there, but then it breaks off really quickly. So any of these humps that are out here that you see, these could all be good. I marked these two right here, but you know, this one could be good too. I've just scanned this whole area and just see what they're attracted to. Probably attracted to whatever this obstruction is that's right there. Got the same thing here, another one of those points. I'm actually going into this arm now. So if you're wondering where I'm at, I just zoomed around. Now I'm going into this arm. As I come down this arm, again, there's these obstruction things, which I have no idea what they are, but good little points right there. We've got some really decent looking little ledges and things too that you could have looked at. I wish I could have marked everything here. Remember that ridge line that we were looking at earlier over here on this side? If you come straight across, you've got the same thing back here, but this one looks a little bit, to me, a little bit more fishable. Now it doesn't have the river channel coming through it, which maybe there is a creek channel there, which we just can't see it, but it definitely has more like that ridge line or that pond dam type feel. So that's going to be a really good offshore area to go look at on both those sides. You know, if you do well over here, then switch over to this side too and see if you can do the same thing and just replicate it. All right, so we're going to go on down here. I didn't see too much on this side. There's a couple things back in here, just a couple decent little points. I did like this point. It's another one of those that extends pretty far out there, right? And it sets up in a really good spot for post-spawn and pre-spawn. So that would be a definitely really good secondary point there. You've also got another one of them over here. And then as we move up here, there's several of them over here that you could, just little points that come out. So, I mean, if this little flat top point thing, if you're fishing points that are like 4 or 5 foot on top with that break off that are, you know, that are back in these channels, you're going to be in money because you've got a lot of good ones here. You got 1, 2, 3 just in this area. Actually 4. And then on the 4th one, you get a little extra because not only do you get the flat, you know, the flat point with a nice top and all of that, but this one actually has road beds that come through it. So you can see here, we've got a road bed here. We've also got a road bed here as well. Now it doesn't look like you can fish in here or something's going on in here, but you can at least fish all around this area. That doesn't look restricted at all. All right, as we go in here, I don't know if this is a restricted area or not. It says special purpose, so maybe it's just no wake. So hopefully that's what it is. Another good little point that's right there. And then another good point that's back in here too. So if you notice, let me pull back and show you guys what I did. That was right here. I just went in here, looked at that point, and then also that point right there. All right, so let's move back. There's that ridge line we were talking about. That thing just looks like the first spot I'd go to. Is I'd just go check that out, especially if it was in the summertime. You've also got some pretty good stuff that's a little bit further out here, right? A little bit deeper, 18 to 20 foot, but some pretty good little points that come out that, you know, you could either call them points or humps or islands or whatever you want to call them, but two definitely high areas, high spots that are out there that are kind of getting more out there towards the main lake. Then as we come up here, we've got this big marina that's back here. We're going to go and just touch on a couple of these points. We've got a really nice point right there. It's kind of in the middle, like right where that longest one is. That's going to be the point you want to fish. And then it's come down here. You've got another interesting area that was right in here that caught my eye. All of this kind of looks good. I like this little point here too, you know, nice break. But if you look here, this one extends out a little bit further. It's a higher spot right up in here, and then it looks like it's got a decent little ledge going on right in here. Now, there could be nothing here. This one doesn't really, it's not like it jumps out to me, but it definitely just caught my attention, just the way it's set up. It was a little bit different than everything else that was in the area. Same type thing here. You know, it's one of those little skinny type ridges that come out. Really like that. That's coming right outside of where that marina is. And then we move over here. We're coming up Little Nutbush Creek. As we come up here, you'll notice that this point extends way out here and has a couple high spots on it. And then this is the farthest high spot that comes out. So that could be a good one as well. You've got some pretty good spots over here too, kind of little islands or humps. You got a nice little saddle that's right in there. So all of that looks good. You got good breaks there too. Not too bad. Right there on the edge there. It could be a creek channel or something that we can't see on Navionics. Come up here, we've got the same type thing. We've got long extended points. There's a really good one there. There's another one here, long extended point. Notice how we got a little fish icon out here too. And then back here, let's say they're going to spawn. Well, you always look for those secondary points where could they collect? Well, that's a great spot for them to collect right here, right before they go in and right as they come out. So just a really good spot to go look at. We're going to move over here. We get out here more main lake. If you want to get way out there, you got a nice little hump that's out here. It comes up about, looks like 7 feet or so, 4 or 5 feet on this side, or 3 to 4 feet, I guess you say, 27 to 24. But then it really breaks here, 24 to 37, and then of course even further. So could be a good little hump that they may collect on. This could be the same type thing. If that hump works, come over here and find this one and check that one out too. All right, so we're going to move back over here. Now we're all the way back up. We're going to make it. I think we're going to make it on this video if we can keep our pace. So we're going to come up here. We're in Dodson Creek now. As we come into Dodson Creek, just looking for those points, right? Those special points. This one's really good. Long and extended, pretty shallow on the top, about 16 foot. You've got another one of those humps that's out here, 23 foot. And then as you move back in here, just a couple things. You know, another good point that's right here. Also looks like you might have some rock that's right in here. So this could be a really good spot. Some local has marked it for you too, so you know that's going to be good. Come back here, again, one of those points, right? Spawning areas. You're looking for that point that comes out of that spawning area, and this is the first one that they would come to. It also has rock on this one too, so that could be good as well. We're going to move back out, another secondary point. You know, extends out pretty good, has a nice good point on it, or a nice good top on it. I like that one as well. There's just so much from an offshore standpoint on Kerr Lake. This one's a little bit shallower, so if you're hitting those shallower points, you know, you got another good one here. As you come over here, I actually like this one a little bit better because not only are we just talking points, but we're also talking a roadbed that's out here as well. So I like this one. If I'm going to fish any of those points we just talked about, and I was pretty limited on time, I would go to the one that has the multiple options for cover, and that one's got the roadbed, so that's probably the first one I'm going to go to. Then I'm going to come over here, and as I get over here, notice this big, giant, I guess you could call it a flat or a point that comes out, but it's got these high spots, 16-foot high spot, 14-foot high spot, 8-foot high spot. So you really want to search that whole area right in here and do some serious scanning in here because I guarantee there's going to be some good stuff there. Then over here, someone put submerged hump. Doesn't really look that submerged. Looks like it's only about 3 foot or so, 1 to 2 foot, so it might not be submerged anymore, but a really nice point that comes out there and then has a pretty good break on it. Just like the way that point is positioned as well. And then right beside it, you'll find this roadbed too coming right off the top of this point. This point's not as obvious. Most people are going to miss it, but it looks like it has some cover on top of it with that roadbed. All right, then we're going to move on up. See what else we can find up here. Another good point with the roadbed, so you can't miss that one. And then again, getting back up in here to these spawning areas, you're looking for that first point that they could go and hang out at, whether it be a ledge or a point or whatever. You got a good point that's right here, and you've got a really good ledge that's over here too. So if it gets too cold or something, they can always dip back down in here. So do some serious scanning in those areas in the springtime. Moving on over here, we've got a nice little point, told you with that roadbed. We already talked about that one. Then we're going to come up here. We're going to see this nice little ledge over here in this little pocket. I'm going to pull this out and show you where this is at, but I like this one too. It's got that nice big sharp break. So here's Henderson Point Park. You can kind of get an idea of where I'm at. That's some kind of parking lot. I have no idea. There's a ramp over here. So that kind of gives you an idea of where I'm at. And I'll pull back here and show you as well. All right, so I'm going to come over onto this. This is more Main Lake, right? Main Lake Point, Main Lake Flats, whatever you want to call it. But you got the roadbed here. You got a really good hump here and a really good hump here, really good high spot. So like all of that. And it's fairly close to that river channel. That river channel is over here, but it's also down here too. And then we're going to move up. We're almost back to the top. We're almost finished. We have 3 more spots to talk about. And then we're going to be, I think that was the Henderson Park boat ramp that we were talking about just a second ago. So yeah, this is the Henderson Park Point. That might be their boat ramp right there. But I love this. You got buoys here. So that should kind of give it away, but you got a really good hump that's right here too. Good saddle, goes down to 9 foot, so breaks down to 9, then goes back up again. But really good area right in here. And being that close to a boat ramp, it's probably got something on it like trees or submerged timber or something like that. You've also got another good flat right here just up from that where you can come out here and take a look at this. You got a good little point that comes out here, but then you also have that nice flat top that's right here in this area too. And then it takes us right back up here. I believe this may even be a county line or a state line, I'm not sure, but we get right in here underneath that border line, and you'll notice right here we've got a nice little point that comes out here, nice flat top again. You guys know I've been talking about the entire video. So that actually finishes up for Kerr Lake. The Nutbush, or what you'll see on the website, is called the Steel Creek area. But definitely go out there and check it out, simplisticfishing.com. You can get all of these waypoints, plus all the Google Earth waypoints. Like I said, load them up on a card and get them on your graph. It will change the way you fish. Make sure to go check it out. And until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.